5 people injured inside a rabbi's home in a New York suburb.
Report multiple people stabbed.
A man with a knife going on the attack.
I ran into the other room because I tried to save my life.
The suspect arrested miles away in Harlem. The FBI on the scene this morning. The attack, the latest in a string targeting Jews in the region.
Tragic crash.
Oh my God.
5 people killed when this twin-engine plane slams into a Louisiana community on its way to the LSU football game. Among those losing their lives,
Carlin Cord for WDS.
a sports reporter with an LSU connection, and the coach who carried on.
Dangerous roads, bad weather conditions across the country. Heavy snow, icy roads, vehicles slipping and sliding. Plus this heart-stopping moment, a tractor trailer emerging from the fog, barreling toward bystanders and flipping over. Plus the storm threat for New Year's Eve.
Attempted abduction caught on camera. The scene inside a restaurant, a 2-year-old grabbed by a stranger, how his 12-year-old sister's quick thinking saved the day, and the way to protect your own kids.
And she's a champ. Serena Williams named AP's Female Athlete of the Decade, winning titles and beating opponents half her age. The outstanding achievement for the Queen of the Court.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
And good Sunday morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's get right to the breaking news from overnight. At least 5 people stabbed at a Hanukkah celebration outside of New York City.
It happened at the home of a rabbi late Saturday. The suspect stabbing and wounding several people before taking off in a vehicle this morning. Police say they have 1 person in custody. The governor of New York, meanwhile, has referred to the case to the state police hate crimes task force for investigation.
This is the latest in a string of attacks on the Jewish community, and ABC's Stephanie Ramos is right there on the scene in Muncie, New York with more. Stephanie, good morning to you.
Dan, good morning. Last night was the 7th night of Hanukkah. Families here in Muncie were celebrating at the rabbi's home, which is right behind me, when all of a sudden police say a man walked in and started to attack.
Report multiple people stabbed. We are right in front of the synagogue.
Police locking down the bloody crime scene at a Hasidic rabbi's home in Rockland County, north of New York City, right next door to his synagogue. Several families were celebrating the holiday together at the home just before 10 p.m. when police say a man attacked them, leaving several injured.
There's 5 families that have family members that have someone that is really suffering tonight, seriously wounded.
One witness describing the terrifying ordeal.
I asked who was coming in the middle of the night. I ran into the other room because I tried to save my life. I saw him running down this way, so I ran out.
All units on scene, extreme caution. Unknown if weapon was recovered or not.
The FBI among several agencies responding. Crime scene technicians could be spotted collecting evidence and photos, and police canines also brought in. Police say the suspect is now in custody. A car believed to be involved in the incident found about 30 miles away in New York City. Police seen searching it for evidence. The attack leaving the community on edge.
We were scared, but we were not surprised, because this is not the first incident in New York. Why is this happening? And that's a question lingering in everyone's mind.
This comes after a series of anti-Semitic attacks in the region within the last few weeks. The NYPD investigating at least 9 possible cases, including this one, where a group of teens can be seen on surveillance knocking a man of Jewish faith to the ground. And earlier this month, a deadly shooting rampage at a northern New Jersey kosher market that left 6 people dead. Investigators blaming bias toward the Jewish community and law enforcement as motivation for the attack. A community spokesperson says those who were attending the celebrations barricaded themselves inside of the synagogue. Police say the suspect was not known to them before this incident. Dan.
So struck by the words of one of the men from that community. Why is this happening? Stephanie Ramos on the scene in Muncie, New York. Thank you very much. We move on now. This morning, federal investigators are trying to crack another mystery: why a small plane went down shortly after takeoff, killing at least 5 people in Louisiana. Among the dead, a sports reporter who was on her way to the Peach Bowl, where her father-in-law was one of the coaches. ABC's Kaylee Hartung has more now from Lafayette, Louisiana. Kaylee, good morning to you.
Good morning, Dan. Carly McCord, that sports reporter, filed a report Friday night. Saturday was supposed to be a day for fun. Everyone on board this plane looking forward to cheering on the LSU Tigers in Atlanta. Now the wreckage of their plane is behind me. This tragedy impacting the LSU football family and so many in this community.
Oh my God!
A fiery plane crash in South Louisiana, killing 5 people and stunning a community. The twin-engine private plane bound for Atlanta. Fans on board for LSU's playoff football game.
There was just this big flame that just went up into flames, and the whole flame like rolled and tumbled straight through the field.
The Piper Cheyenne took off from Lafayette Regional Airport just after 9 a.m. Saturday, with an experienced pilot at the helm.
You can smell it, the air, the fuel.
Barely a mile later, hitting these power lines just feet away from an apartment building, then bursting into flames as it crashed into this post office parking lot.
Went straight, and then the plane just blew up. And then that's when that first cop came.
The windows of the building blown out, a nearby car catching fire. One man surviving the crash, hospitalized in critical condition. 3 others on the ground injured. Among the fatalities, Gretchen David Vincent and her teenage son Walker. Today would have been his 16th birthday.
I'm Carly McCord.
And New Orleans sports reporter Carly McCord, the daughter-in-law of LSU's offensive coordinator Steve Ensminger. The coach seen emotional before the football game. After the Tigers win, LSU's head coach describing the moment he broke the news.
Told him what happened, and here's what he said: "Coach, we're going to get through this."
The NTSB has just arrived on the scene here in Lafayette, sending as many as a dozen investigators, trying to piece together what went wrong with this plane, an experienced pilot at the helm. Eva.
Kaylee Hartung for us there. Well, the winter storm is barreling across the country, and it's causing dangerous conditions on the road. And there's more to come for the new year. Rob's here with what's going on out there. And Rob, we're all looking at that New Year's Eve forecast.
Well, some folks are going to have a hard time with it, but I think most folks will see this thing clear out. But it's been a slow go. It's been growing in size. This really is now covering about 1/3 of the country. And we've had some severe weather down to the south, winds gusting to 60 miles an hour across parts of the north. And on the backside of this, near blizzard conditions, shutting down highways. Overnight, a winter storm slamming parts of the Midwest with snow and rain. In Colorado, heavy snow snarling traffic for miles in Denver. Low visibility and strong winds making the roads dangerous. Cars sliding, some drivers left stranded on the side of highways. Icy roads in Minnesota sending this school bus pulling a trailer, slipping and sliding right in the middle of the road. Authorities warning of extreme ice, telling drivers to stay off the roads.
What is all that stuff? Is it a tornado?
In Oklahoma, a possible tornado touching down just outside Oklahoma City. The powerful winds leaving a trail of damage. The roof of this home ripped off. In Texas, KCBD capturing this heart-stopping moment as a tractor trailer loses control, plowing into a vehicle. State troopers responding to an earlier accident. Watch again as the 18-wheeler slides on its side. 2 people were injured, including one of the troopers. Both expected to be okay. That is good news, but it is frightening stuff. Also kind of scary in Denver. They've had a dry December as far as snow goes, and it was going to go down on record as the driest since 1906. But this is what happened. A couple of inches there, just slicking up the roadways, and some vans crashing into vehicles. So it's a dangerous, dangerous go of it in Denver. Now, with the storm expanding, we've got, look at all these. Over 20 states now have alerts going on, including new ones in the Northeast, including ice storm warnings. Winter storm warnings continue across parts of the upper Midwest with heavy snow there, and they're the near blizzard conditions. Another stormy day out in the warm sector. We've had all that warmth build up ahead of this thing, and that rain will stretch into the Northeast tonight and tomorrow. And look at that, a lot of pink in this area. That's where the ice storm warnings are for interior parts of New England, and it continues right through New Year's Eve night into New Year's Day, where it'll be windy and blustery, and accumulations could see some power outages with this. Wait, over to you.
Not looking forward to that. All right, Rob, thank you. We'll check back with you soon. In Hawaii this morning, there are new calls for stronger oversight of helicopter tours after a crash that killed 7 people over the holiday week. ABC's Will Carr joins us from Kauai with more. Will, good morning.
This crash took place in a very rugged part of this island. The search has really been hampered by bad weather since the crash happened as investigators search for answers. This morning, new details into how that tour helicopter crashed in a remote part of the Nepali coast. According to authorities, the helicopter with 6 passengers and the pilot was flying just over a mile inland when it struck a cliff, then plummeted 100 yards down. All 7 on board died, including Amy Gannon and 13-year-old Jocelyn Gannon from Wisconsin and a family of 4 from Switzerland. The pilot, Paul Matero, had 12 years of experience, according to Safari Helicopters.
You could tell he really loved it because of the knowledge he had about that island. It's very articulate, and he was a very sweet man.
In a statement, Safari Helicopters says it's fully cooperating with the NTSB and the FAA. Kauai is known for its rugged, breathtaking landscape featured in movies like Jurassic Park. Tourists flock to Hawaii to take in these majestic views from the air. But according to the NTSB, there have been 18 civilian helicopter crashes in Hawaii since 2015. With that in mind, some lawmakers are questioning the overall safety of Hawaiian tour helicopters and planes. Whit.
All right, Will Carr for us. Thank you.
Moving on now, the mother from Austin, Texas, whose body was found in the trunk of her best friend's car, has been laid to rest in her hometown of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Among those in attendance, Heidi Broussard's now 1-month-old daughter. Police say the killing was part of a plot to steal that baby, whose name is Margot. She has since been reunited with her family, and the investigation into her mother's death is ongoing. Her friend is in custody on kidnapping and other charges.
Alabama's governor doubling the reward money for any credible information in the case of a missing woman last seen more than a week ago leaving a bar. The reward to help find Peyton Houston now reaching $10,000 as the search grows increasingly desperate. The 29-year-old was last seen on December 20th leaving a bar with 2 unknown men before texting a friend saying she might be in trouble.
To politics now, impeachment making headlines on the campaign trail in Iowa. Democrat Joe Biden trying to clarify his answer about whether he would testify in President Trump's Senate trial. ABC's Rachel Scott is in West Palm Beach, where the president has spent much of the holiday week sounding off against Democrats. Rachel, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, President Trump is heading into his 2nd week here in Florida, and lawmakers are still at odds. The longer that standoff goes, the greater the possibility of a Senate trial starting further into an election year. President Trump has been waiting to get what he calls a fair shake in the Senate. He's accusing Democrats of slowing down the process. In between rounds of golf, the president has repeatedly lashed out at House Speaker Nancy Pelosi for withholding the articles of impeachment, and Pelosi has not budged on this. She says she will not take the next step until Republicans reveal the structure for a trial. Democrats want witnesses. They want documents turned over. But Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says lawmakers are at an impasse. Little progress has appeared to be made over this holiday recess, and he calls Pelosi's decision to withhold those articles of impeachment absurd. Whit?
And Rachel, Biden out campaigning in Iowa got a question that's getting a lot of buzz about whether he would appoint former President Barack Obama to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, the former vice president said he would if he would take it, but Joe Biden is also getting some questions about whether he would testify in President Trump's Senate trial. And the former vice president has had to clarify where he has stood on this. First, he said that he would not comply with Congress. He stood by that decision. And then after taking some heat and getting some more questions about this, he has appeared to walk this back. He says he would now obey any subpoena issued to him, but insists that the focus should be on President Trump's conduct, not his. Now, President Trump has repeatedly insisted that he wants to hear from both Joe Biden and his son Hunter in a trial. But again, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has not made a firm decision on whether witnesses should testify. The timeline, the scope, the structure of a trial still up in the air at this point as we inch closer to a new year. Whit?
All right, Rachel Scott for us. Thank you. Dan?
Rachel, thank you. Let's turn now to ABC's Jonathan Karl, one of our chief White House correspondents. He's going to be hosting this week later this morning. Jonathan, good morning to you. Let's start with this this promise that Joe Biden apparently made to appoint Barack Obama to the Supreme Court. I got a 2-part question for you. One, is this idea a political winner? And 2, would Barack Obama even want this job?
Well, in terms of the politics of it, look, Biden has done everything he can to embrace Obama. Pitching his candidacy as basically Obama 2.0. But would Barack Obama accept a nomination to the Supreme Court? Dan, I covered him in the White House. I have got to say that there is no way. I would be shocked if he would even consider it. Remember, Obama has his Netflix deal. He's got a deal with Spotify on podcasts. He is enjoying life post-presidency. I think the last thing in the world that Barack Obama would want to face right now would be a Senate confirmation hearing. The idea of going before the Senate and answering questions and dealing with all that, I think there is no way that he would want to go through that, even with a Supreme Court appointment at the end of the tunnel.
Fair enough. Let's loop back, speaking of the Senate, to the issue of whether Biden would comply with a subpoena to testify in President Trump's Senate trial. Theoretically, I wonder, if Biden were compelled to testify, how do you imagine that would impact his campaign? Could it help or hurt?
Well, first of all, I think it is not likely. I mean, McConnell has made it clear he would like to see no witnesses at all. And I don't think he wants to see the Senate trial turn into something of a circus, which it would be, I think, if you started bringing in the Bidens. But if he were to testify, look, this is not a good story for Biden at all. Even with no evidence of wrongdoing regarding Ukraine on Biden's behalf, there is at the very least an appearance of impropriety by seeing his son appointed to the position that he had in that Ukrainian oil company, while Biden was the administration's point person on Ukraine.
Jonathan Karl, always great to have your analysis on a Sunday morning. I want to remind everybody, John has a big show this morning. He's going to go one-on-one with the National Security Advisor, Robert O'Brien, plus 2020 presidential candidate Andrew Yang discusses the state of his campaign. It's all coming up on This Week later this morning right here on ABC.
And time now for a check of the weather. And Rob, back in studio.
In the studio. Good to see you.
Yeah, the championship game is set for 2 weeks.
We're going to be seeing more of you, aren't we, now?
You say that with such disappointment and disdain.
We're happy to have you here in the flesh.
Thank you. Thank you for that recovery. All right. Ramsey, Minnesota. This is what the more balanced people can do. Not mentally necessarily, but physically. All right, the ice on the driveway, and he decided to salt it and slide down at the same. That's pretty good, I gotta admit. Don't try it at home unless you're well padded. It was slick across parts of Minnesota, Minneapolis. It was a difficult time yesterday afternoon because of stuff like this. And now we have that big system that's moving towards the east. Let's talk about the next system that is coming up, and it's heading to the west coast. So Portland and through Medford. This one is a coastal rain event, it looks like, but it is a cold storm. So snow levels with this are going to be on the low side. And because of that, mountain snows across parts of the Los Angeles County mountains and east of San Diego as well. Winter storm watch is posted because we're not quite sure how much of that moisture will get inland. Up to an inch of rain expected. So not flooding rain here, but could see 3 to 6 inches of snowfall. And that will make it difficult to travel, especially at some of those lower mountain passes. Meanwhile, we're still pretty mild here in the east, and this includes some of your New Year's Eve and New Year's Day forecasts. No real snow south of, say, I-90. That's check on what's happening nationally. Time now for a look at your local forecast.
Well, hello and happy Sunday. Meteorologist Alex Liggett here. Clouds overspread the region overnight. Showers become more likely as we get towards the late morning hours and midday. They will continue to be scattered at times through the afternoon. Highs reaching the 50s later on this afternoon and evening. Tomorrow, cold front shifts through 65 degrees as we swing through some clearing skies tomorrow afternoon. Behind it, 52 for New Year's Eve, dropping back into the upper 40s for the start of 2020.
You're going to be seeing a lot more of me in 2020. Janae, you cool with that?
I'm good with it.
I'm digging the professorial V-neck look.
Yes, it makes me feel smarter.
Yes. Very Mr. Rogers.
I just want some patches on the elbows. Robert, thank you. Let's turn to sports. And the tennis superstar just named Female Athlete of the Decade by the Associated Press. We're talking about Serena Williams, of course, and Janae, newscaster of the decade, is here with more on that.
Oh, that's good, Dan. Serena's impressive athletic accomplishments matched only by your knowledge of sports. It really comes as no surprise at all. Serena Williams has been a force to be reckoned with for years. From her accomplishments on the court to her personal life, even launching her own fashion line. To say she dominated the last decade would be an understatement.
A hard-fought win for Serena Williams.
She's regarded as one of the top athletes on the planet, cementing history on the tennis court again and again. And now the Associated Press dubbing Serena Williams Female Athlete of the Decade. Consistently dominating on the tennis court, Williams has notched 23 Grand Slam singles titles, 12 in the last decade, and more than anyone else since 1968, and securing 72 singles titles in her career, 37 in the last 10 years. But she's also managed to transcend tennis.